Hello, and welcome to this tutorial for the use of Roompact in the Department of Residential Education and Housing at the College of New Jersey. Roompact is a multi-purpose tool that is used to manage many parts of our residential curriculum, including but not limited to roommate agreements, documenting and tracking potential roommate conflicts, tracking community events and facilitated events planned by the residential staff, documenting one-on-one conversations between residents and their CAs, and submitting daily road reports in each residential area. At its heart, Roompact is a communications tool that provides real-time information to residents, student staff, and professional staff in each building. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to log in and out of the system, check your profile and notification settings, view assignment information for your building and floor, view and update roommate agreements, provide information on roommate relationships in specific rooms, submit forms, use resources, and propose and assess community events using the Events tab. We will begin with logging into the system. To log in, first you will need to go to https://roompact.com. Once there is a login button on the home screen. Simply click this button and enter your TCNJ email address. Once here, you'll be navigated to the single sign-on page where you can log in, again using your TCNJ information. Once you have logged into the system, you will see your dashboard, which also includes the hub. This will allow you to review forms that have been submitted that you have access to and to see general discussion information. On the left-hand side of the screen is the navigation pane for accessing all of the functions of Roompact. Please note, on the top right corner of the screen, there is a button that says Switch to Resident, or it'll say Switch to Staff. You are both a resident and staff member in this system. You can use this button to switch between your view as a resident of the building and your view as a staff member. Much more of the functionality of the system is available to you as a staff member. If you need to perform staff functions, make sure you are logged in as staff. The first time you log into the system, you are going to want to manage your notification settings. Go to My Account and select Notification Settings in the drop-down menu. There are types of notifications that you can receive: room status changes, agreement changes, resident messages, and unsigned agreements. For each type of notification, you can select how frequently you were notified. Live will alert you as changes come in. Daily will provide you an update of all changes made once a day. Weekly will provide you an update of all changes made once per week. Never will not provide you any notifications. You may also select to be notified by text, by email, or both. By default, you will have no active notifications. However, the department has established the following expectations regarding staff notifications. Room status changes and resident messages must be set to live. Simply change it to live and the screen will update. Agreement changes and unsigned agreements must be at least weekly. Whether you have these emailed to you, texted to you, or both is a free choice. We just need to make sure you are receiving notifications. Under the navigation pane, there is a tab that will identify your floor. This button is beneath the Hub tab. This will allow you to see all of your residents, the status of each room, as well as if their roommate agreement has been completed. There are two primary views on this page. The room view is a visual interface that shows you the picture of your residence, the status of the room indicated by a color and smiley face, as well as a checkbox indicating if the roommate agreement has been signed and completed by all residents. The room search view communicates the same information, however, it is in a table format. To view a room, simply click on it. There are two main parts of the room view. The room timeline is where you can input notes regarding interactions you have had with residents. Interactions may be positive, such as learning a new fact about a resident, or that a resident has gotten a new internship or job. This could also be concerns, such as roommate conflicts or other situations occurring in the space. Whenever notes are submitted, you will be able to see the full history of the room for the entire year. The residents will not be able to see information that you put here. This screen is also where you can change the status of a room. There are three statuses: good, okay, and bad. Any time you change the status of a room, you must include a note as to why you have changed the status. Make sure you click the Submit button when you have typed this information. Let's say resident A and B had an argument about cleaning the room. In this example, you would let us know that roommate A and B are experiencing difficulties. If you have more information about the specifics of the case, then you would enter it like so. Roommate A has stated that he has cleaned the room 3 times without roommate B ever contributing. He also states that he hasn't talked to roommate B about this and isn't sure how to have this conversation. This is all good information that you will want your supervisor to have. Once an issue like this comes up, you can change the status to OK and click Submit. This will add that information to the timeline. The OK or yellow status should be used when a minor issue has come to our attention that professional staff should be aware of but may not need involvement. Once the status has been selected, the student staff member should take steps to resolve the situation within a 1-week time frame. Note, while student staff can raise the status of a room, only professional staff can lower it back down to green. Once the situation has been resolved, the student staff should submit this information as a note and communicate with their professional staff member, who will determine if any further action is necessary or if the status can be reset to green. In the situation we provided, you would have a roommate conversation with the two residents, and once that is done, you would let your supervisor know, and they will follow up with you whether the situation is okay or whether they would like you to take further action. The bad or red status should be used for one of two circumstances. If an emergency situation has occurred that requires immediate attention, such as threats or a physical altercation. In these instances, you will likely also be submitting an incident report. The other time we would use red is if we are aware that a room has been having repetitive issues that have resulted in a previous status change to yellow. In either circumstance, professional staff involvement is required and should take place within 48 hours. In these instances, a room may not go back directly to green. Professional staff may lower the status to yellow and follow up with you to take action within a specified period of time. To review, green status is good. Yellow status is okay and may require student staff intervention and maybe not professional staff intervention. Yellow status should be resolved within a week. Red status requires professional staff intervention and action should take place within 48 hours. On the screen, we have learned how to view a room, view the room timeline, and make updates to the room timeline. The other main element of room view is the room agreement. The roommate agreement is a document created through a guided conversation you will have with each room at the beginning of the fall semester and any time a new resident is added to a space. There will be a separate video that demonstrates to residents how to create and propose changes to a roommate agreement. Please make sure to view this video to familiarize yourself with the process so you are better able to assist your residents. To view a room's roommate agreement, simply click on the tab indicated on the room screen. This will allow you to see the agreement and the signatures of all residents. It will be your responsibility to make sure that all rooms have completed and signed their roommate agreement. In addition to viewing an agreement, you have the ability to reset a roommate agreement. This will completely delete the existing agreement and allow you to send a message to all of the residents to complete a new one. This should only be done in consultation with your supervisor. If a roommate agreement is reset, a new roommate agreement meeting will need to be held by you with all residents of the space. If you are assisting with a roommate conflict, it is more likely that you will walk them through proposing changes to the agreement rather than resetting it and starting all over. Please note, you are also able to download a copy of any roommate agreement as a PDF by clicking the Download PDF button. The next section of Roompact to review is forms. Forms are an essential component for our department as your form submissions are used to keep track of facilitated events, one-on-one conversations, and daily rove reports. Specific detail about what these forms are and the information they collect will be provided at fall training. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will focus on how to submit a form and how to view form submissions. To submit a form, first you will navigate to the Forms tab on the left side navigation pane. By default, you will be in the File Form section. Simply navigate to the form you would like to fill out, answer all of the questions provided, and click the Submit button. Forms are divided into several categories. You can find a form by scrolling, or if you know the form's name, you can type it in the search bar. As an example, we will create a demo rove report. From this screen, you will see the options of questions I am asked to answer. Simply answer any of the questions. A red star indicates a required question. If you would like to view submissions for forms you have completed or other staff members have completed in your area, you can use the View Submissions button at the top of the screen. From the Select Template menu, you can pick the report you would like to see answers for. You may not see the same options as on this screen. There are two ways to look at form submissions. Summary mode lets you select individual form submissions and review that individual report. I can see here all of the answers that were submitted on this copy of the Rove report. I can simply hit the back button to be returned to the previous screen. You can also select Switch to Review mode. Review mode will allow you to look at all of that form submissions as a table. The next tab on the navigation pane that you will use is the Events tab. The Events tab is where we track community events. These events are typically smaller scale events that you plan for your residents. There are three main phases to the community event process: proposal, implementation and execution, and assessment. To propose an event, go to the Events tab and select the Propose button at the top of the screen. Enter all of the information asked for in the event proposal. Event name is where you can put the title of your program. Description is a brief description of what the program will entail. Staff responsible are all the staff members who are helping to plan this event. It is important to make sure that all staff members helping are tagged here. When it comes time to assess the event, only staff members who are tagged will be able to complete the assessment. To add tags, the system will help you fill in the names of your staff members once you start typing. The start date and time and end date and time of the event are simply when you are starting and ending your event. Category is not a section we are currently using, however, may start using in the future. Learning outcomes are statements that describe what the end result of your program should be. Community events should focus on community. When inputting the learning outcome, it will automatically populate with students will be able to. That is the beginning of your learning outcome. Next, click on Show Action Verbs. This will give you a list of verbs to use in your learning outcome. For example, develop. Then add exactly what you want your residents to learn or leave your event with. For example, students will be able to develop a new connection with someone they have not interacted with before. This is a community-centered learning outcome focused on developing connections. Target audience is where you can let us know if this event is just for the residents of your floor, building, or staffing area. Location tags are particularly important. Start typing the name of a building and the system will give you the option to select the entire building or individual floors. Use as many tags as are relevant for your event. Location details are where your event is actually occurring, and the audience is for your expected or desired attendance number. The planning section is where you will put all of the work that will need to happen for your event. List out what needs to occur, and if this is a group endeavor, who is being assigned each task. The publicity plan is all of the ways that you will be letting residents know that this event is occurring. It's helpful in this section to include any dates and deadlines you have set for yourself. Your budget is how you plan on using any funds available to you. Your supervisor will likely let you know a general guideline of how much you can spend per community event. You should enter the total amount you plan to spend for this event, and in the budget breakdown, list out each item that needs to be purchased and the estimated cost of that item based on the research that you have conducted, which can be as simple as an online search. Once our proposal is submitted, we will see it with a status of pending approval. Once the residence director has had a chance to review our proposal, they will change the status to approved or denied. If approved, we can go ahead and start working on our event. If denied, your RD will let you know what their concerns are so you can either address those concerns or come up with a new idea. As you can see, the pending approval has been switched to approved. That means our residence director has reviewed the event and thinks it's a good idea. From this point on, we are in the implementation and execution phase. This doesn't happen in Roompact. This means we are actively planning and holding our event. Once the event date and time is passed, the event will automatically move to pending assessment. Wow, that was a really fun event. To complete the assessment, simply search for your event and open it. In the top right corner of the screen, you will find an assessment button. We had a successful event and are now completing our assessment. We go to our event and click on Assessment. Number of attendees, we had 12 people attend. Our total expenditures will be the $50 we proposed for gift cards. For the summary and future suggestions, the event went very well. While the residents enjoyed answering questions about their roommate, they really enjoyed getting to know someone they had not met before. For the future, I would think about how to ask the questions with a survey tool that they can answer with their phone. The learning outcome sections, we see the learning outcomes that we put in before the event. For the evaluation section, we met our learning outcomes. Students were able to recall information about their roommates during the game shows and built a connection with someone else through the assigning of. Once the assessment is completed, we click Submit, and the community event process is completed. The final area for you to know about is the Resources tab. Resources is where you will find key information that will be helpful for you in your position. Resources you will find include, but are not limited to, lesson plans and the handouts required for facilitated events, guidelines for completing one-on-one conversations, links to the training Canvas page, and many other helpful links and materials. One thing to note about resources is that there are separate resources for staff and residents. Remember back to the beginning of this video that you have a resident view and staff view. Make sure you know what view you are in for access to the correct resources. This concludes our video tutorial on the use of Roompact in the Department of Residential Education and Housing. Please refer back to this video at any time when you need a refresher. If you have any questions regarding information contained in this video, please ask your residence director for support.